Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode of the vlogs. Hopefully you can see behind me a lovely sunrise, just catching the tail end of it. But today we've got some lovely training. Big focus today on smashing the weights. So first thing, we have a bike to do, so not too high intensity of the cardio, not too much work on the legs, and then smashing the legs on the weight session later on today. So we're going to finish or get Yam walked to start off the day and then head to the gym. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. And we've made it into the gym, the upstairs area where we get on these lovely bicycles for a steady bicycle. So let's get to it. And 90 minutes on the bicycle completed. I think it was about 1,000 calories or so burned. A little lower heart rate than on the rowing machine, because the rowing machine is more all body. It's a bit more difficult to get the heart rate up, so above 120, but a bit further away from 130. Now, as always after a session, we've got some lovely food to fuel up on, so we're going to do that because remember, food is fuel. And we've made it outside. Wow, they're really going hard at the running. Walking the puppies after fueling up on some delicious pasta. But as always, getting the energy out of the dogs. But today, talking about hygiene, talking about tips that can help you not get ill, and obviously the Olympics and the coronavirus and the dangers of it. So there's been a lot of sort of hearsay, a lot of news about the Olympics actually being postponed, cancelled, changed because of the coronavirus, and there's a lot of events throughout the world that have been shifted. For example, purely in rowing, the pre-Olympic qualification or the last Olympic qualification regattas in Asia or on that side of the world have been cancelled, and the people that are trying to qualify in those regattas are getting the opportunity to race in Lucerne in the last qualification regatta instead, rather than where they originally were. One of them was in South Korea, and so they're trying to move that with a big congregation of people away from there to stop the spread of the coronavirus. But it doesn't seem to be like there's any sort of slowdown of the virus itself. So will it come to a postponing or a cancelling of the Olympics this year? It would mean just an outrageous string of events that would cause havoc, not just with sport in general for that time, but also just sort of the amount of money that's went into the Olympics preparing the games, the amount of money that would be generated by the Olympics that won't be. Will it be postponed? Will it be cancelled? Will it be moved? We'll soon find out as sort of the coronavirus and everything sort of progresses throughout the year, but fingers crossed the people behind the scenes working on sort of vaccines can really get them out there. So Yamsquad, everyone fingers crossed for that, because it would be a real shame to have it really extend further. And for the rest of the day, we're going to talk about hygiene tips on just sort of how to prevent illness, and not necessarily the coronavirus, because that's a whole different sort of virus, but sort of illness. Like Charlie was ill, how did I try not to get ill? Why did he maybe get ill? And we're going sort of out in public today, so tips that you can use out in public to try not to get ill, and also in the gym today as well. We'll talk about tips for that. But now we're going to finish off the walk, so let's get to it. And we've made it out to the public outside the house, and to avoid germs we have to at all times cover the mouth and don't breathe. But do actually breathe. Breathing is very, very important. But really, if you are trying not to get ill, which is probably what you're trying not to, going out in public is a danger zone, it's a minefield. So things like, try not to touch your face because there's germs absolutely everywhere. I'm not trying to scare you, but there are. And so door handles, people coughing, hence why sometimes it's a good idea to cover the mouth because you can cough, germs everywhere, sneeze, germs everywhere. Wonderful flowers. But as we enter, it's an automatic door, so we don't have to touch the doors, but then we're going to have to go and get a basket. So you're going to touch a minging basket, and so make sure that you might have to just not touch stuff with your hands. So here's the baskets. There we go, not touching the basket. But now that I have touched the basket, maybe there was germs on said basket, and so now avoiding touching my face, touching, like, maybe I'll like touch my eye or like itch my face, avoid that at all costs, and which actually makes a very big difference. But now we're going to get some food. And we've made it out of the shop successfully, avoiding enough people and avoiding touching as little things as possible. But that's about, what day is this? Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? So hopefully food will last till Wednesday, and then we'll come back and get some more food. Oh yeah, because remember, food is fuel. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, so my sister is in her last part of uni to be a doctor, but she spent a lot of time at sort of hospitals for like the experience of doctoring. So how do doctors or people in the hospital, nurses, not get ill? Because they're always surrounded by illness. But first we're going to get in the Yam Drover and transport ourselves back to the house. And we've made it back to the house. We've got some delicious pizza from Aldi, because remember, food is fuel, and currently trying to eat a bit less clean, a little bit, but still a decent amount of food here. Pre-weights, where we will discuss sort of when you go to the gym what you can do to help not get ill. But one of the other things, fueling up properly can help with you sort of keep your body able to defend against illness. So eating the right amount of minerals and vitamins and keeping your body properly fueled on carbs and protein means that your body is able to use that to deal with day in, day out energy expenditure, but also if it needs a little bit extra to defend against the world, then it can do that. So there's obviously different vitamins and minerals that you can eat or get from the supermarket or the pharmacist or whatever supplements you might want to use, but I recommend speaking to a sort of nutritionist for that if you are interested in that. Sort of, for example, vitamin C and vitamin D you can sort of get to help boost the immune system, but there's loads of other things as well you can use. Now we're going to eat this delicious pizza, and then we're going to head to the gym. The gym. Oh yeah! And we've made it into the gym. We've got some lovely deadlifts. And on to tips when you're in the gym, what to do about or how to avoid getting ill as much. So when you're, whatever equipment you're using, the biggest thing, whether it's trap bar, barbell, one of these machines, one of those, wipe them down. And even as before you start, regardless if you think the person that was on before you wiped it down, because you don't know, but also wipe down after you finish as well to help the next person. It's not just all about you preventing illness for yourself, but also wiping down the equipment after your use can also help prevent illness for the next person. We're now to continue with the deadlift. And we're finished deadlifts. Moving machines from over there to here, gonna pull exercise in. Really simple. Obviously you know what to do to clean your machines when you get on it. So this is, you take some spray. And spray the handles or whatever it is you'll be touching, and then you take some paper towels, some kitchen rolls, some toilet paper, whatever you want to call it. Obviously give it a better wipe when you have two hands, and then you're good to go. As simple as that, and you can do it once you're finished as well. So I'm going to get on with the weight session, some pulling, and we're finishing on some leg press. And then we're going to talk about, like I said earlier, about my sister being almost a doctor and how she doesn't get ill, even though surrounded by perhaps ill people. So let's get to the rest of the weights. And we've finished up with weights, leg press, deadlift, pulls, pushes. Managing to smash the weights right now. The aim, like I said yesterday or the day before, trying to smash those hot sessions, and the hot sessions for us right now is the weights, because we're looking at getting stronger, stronger, and stronger. But today has been an absolute stormer of a day outside, and it's a real shame not to spend any time outside. So if you do get the opportunity to spend time outside, hopefully you can. But we're talking about, like I said, sister's a doctor. How does she not get ill? Well, let me put my things in my car and I'll tell you about what they're taught as medical, almost, my sister, almost professionals, to help stay healthy. And what she was taught to try and keep healthy was the 5 moments of hand hygiene. Obviously this applies to like in a hospital or dealing with different patients, but you can kind of apply it to your life, to the world, when you go out in public, when you're in your home or wherever it is. So there are 5 times in a hospital when you should perform hand hygiene, when you should wash your hands, whether that's through alcohol, gels, or washing your hands with soap and water, or anything like that. But there's 5 moments, 5 times when you should be washing your hands. And I'll just go through them. Before touching a patient, before clean aseptic procedures, after body fluid exposure or risk, after touching a patient, so that's 2 of those, and then after touching a patient's surroundings. So you can basically, if you can assume that these people might be ill, you're washing your hands before you touch a patient, you're washing your hands after you touch a patient, you're washing your hands after touching the patient's surroundings. So that goes into sort of when I'm in the gym and I'm saying, okay, well, I'm washing the places where I'm touching or about to touch before I actually touch them. So like the barbell or the rack pull machine, so I'm washing the handles just in case, really. And most of this is all preventative measures so you're not getting ill. And really, this is obviously a little bit on the extreme side, so you might end up washing your hands every other minute, but it is just a case of if you do end up, say, encountering someone or somewhere that there are germs, then if you do wash your hands, if you do touch those germs and then wash your hands, in theory, those germs should be get rid of, and then that limits the exposure to you. But obviously I'm not a medical professional, so if you do have any more questions, I recommend talking to your GP, your doctor, if you want any more advice on sort of hygiene. But these are tips that I sort of go by, sort of washing your hands, not all the time, but as much as you feel like you need to. Keeping a little bottle of alcohol gel around with you, so if you are going out in public, then you have the opportunity. You don't have to go into a bathroom, a toilet, and wash your hands. You just have it with you. Take it in your back pocket, little squirt in the hands, and you're good to go. Sometimes, especially now as the coronavirus is spreading, which it could grow, well, it is growing very, very quickly, and it could be going exponential. Going into places with a large amount of people, like the Olympics, could increase your risk of catching that virus. We're not at that stage at the moment with the virus, and I don't know when or even if that will happen, but It's just a case of being sort of aware of what you need to do to help, one, help yourself, and two, stop the spread of germs and stop the spread of different viruses, illnesses, or anything like that. Because if everyone washes their hands, if everyone takes proper hygiene care of themselves, then viruses have less ability to transfer between people, if that makes sense. And that will be it for today's episode, Yamsquad. Hopefully you can take these tips and help yourself as well as the people around you. They're all really simple things to do, and hopefully, like I said earlier, the coronavirus right now it's not under control and it could just explode, so hopefully it doesn't. And obviously it is a very important thing for the entire world to sort of be aware of. And so fingers crossed it doesn't get worse and events like the Olympics can go forward. But for today, keeping to those hygiene tips and helping not spread any illnesses or any viruses. And as always, Yamsquad, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode of the vlogs. Oh yeah!